We had Rush Limbaugh pass away the other day, and my condolences and sympathies to his loved ones. I think he's survived by his wife and children, or I'm sure there are brothers and sisters, many, many, many millions of fans, scores of millions of fans that are crushed, who came to feel that he was, like a father to them, a father figure or a brother or what have you. And so my condolences go out to him, and many people are giving their condolences, and people are very worried about, well, Rush Limbaugh, since he just died, you can't speak ill of the dead. I guess I'm going to be the only one brave enough to do that. I always endeavor to comport myself with humility and in accord with our highest standards as Westmen. And I am doing so, I believe, when I say that Rush Limbaugh has, I've seen estimates of around $500 million. Why in God's name did he not use that for the well-being of our people all the way up to the very end? Why did he not? He had what is referred to as Foxtrot U money. Why did he not just go for it? Why he had been losing with conservative. Now, he was a very intelligent man, and he has witnessed over the span of his life, from when he started in radio all the way up to the moment he finally passed on, he has witnessed a steady decline in the United States and around the world. I mean, make no mistake about it, he's watching as Western civilization burns down around the world. He sees these conservative approaches and ideas failing day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. Even an idiot would realize this approach doesn't work. Now you might say, Jason, well, he still wanted his fame. He still wanted the dollars pouring in. He wanted dollars on top of dollars. Maybe he ate some of them. He was a bit portly. But he had dollars pouring in upon dollars. He had fame and infamy, depending on your perspective of Rush Limbaugh. And he did not use any of it, even all the way up to the end. Now, when he had terminal cancer, if you might have said, well, Jason, still all the way up. He didn't know. Maybe he lived to 120. Bravo Sierra. But still, once he figured out that he had terminal cancer, why did he not then say, I've got more than enough money. It doesn't matter what these people think of me. I'm going to end up very, very shortly leaving this mortal realm. I'm going to go for it because everything else has been losing. So I'm going to bring on to the show. I'm going to use my money, that I have infinite money, as that's what it amounts to, $500 million. And I'm going to hire people. I'm going to say, go out into the world quickly, find people for me to bring on my show so that I can introduce these individuals to scores of millions in the United States. Find them quickly. They don't have to be perfect. I'll give a disclaimer at the beginning of each show. Don't know everything about this guy or this woman, but they care about America. They care about white people. He knows very well and good where America comes from. Why didn't he do this? So Foxtrot that fat bastard right into his grave. That's what I have to say about the dead when it comes to that guy, that POS. Can't speak ill of the dead? Well, I think I will. We need to start behaving this way so that the Rush Limbaughs of the world know that if you're going to exit this world and you're going to leave the rest of us with not only your funeral pyre on fire, but all of our civilization, that no, you're not going to live in fame. Your family are not going to be able to walk the streets and have people thank them. Oh, thank you so much. for your loved one, these bereaved members, and we're going to say, thank you. No, we're going to say, go to hell. Why didn't he do more? What more do you need than the Grim Reaper and $500 million to make you brave? What a fat-ass coward he was. That's my opinion of Rush Limbaugh. A fat-ass coward. Couldn't even be brave with the Grim Reaper and $500 million. So now we have a new standard for moral behavior. After one of these cucks leave the world, we can feel concern. We can sympathize. We can empathize with their family members, and we should. That's the right thing to do. They're not responsible for him being a giant pussy willow. They're not responsible for that. But we should as shit condemn them for that cowardly behavior. So everybody's sharing these memes now of Rush said this or Rush said that. It's sickening. I find it sickening. I'm disgusted by him. And he should be remembered, as far as I'm concerned, as the ultimate coward. Because not even death and $500 million was able to put anything between his legs. Not even death and $500 million drove a spine up the back of that jellyfish. If you can't get brave with death in one hand and $500 million in the other hand, you are one pathetic SOB. We have people out there who have nothing. Rush, if you can hear me, nothing. And they're out there standing up for Western kind and the United States and the UK and Germany and Italy and Sweden and all the rest. Nothing to their names. You lived in palaces. You bitch. You absolute fat bitch. That's what I have to say about Rush Limbaugh. And if your feelings are hurt by it, then get over it. That's your problem. So that's what I had to say on Rush Limbaugh. I had to get that off my chest. And we'll do this reverse style. Maybe once we get far enough away from this fat bitch coward, the most pusillanimous coward to ever, most pusillanimous male boy to ever, he's going to snuggle up close, all fat-like to that microphone. He thinks he's so suave and so powerful. And he led one defeated battle after another all the way into his grave. Think about that. I want you to think about that. For all the books he wrote, for all the time he was on the radio and had people's ears, it was one loss after another. And there's no way in hell he was unaware that they were losses. No way in hell. He deserved to die with Biden as president. He deserved that. He deserved to get into that hole in the ground that I'm sure they had to use several cranes to make. He deserved to climb into that hole. With Biden using that pen at one executive order after another, defeating everything that Rush cared about. Good. You know what? I can have, we all don't know what our final days are going to be like. Everybody, and I want for all of you, all of your final days, to be in bed, surrounded by loved ones who are looking on at you and telling you how much they love you. And that's what I want your final moments to be like. But some of us are not going to be that lucky. Most of us are not going to be that lucky. And I can tell you one thing that will absolutely not happen with me is pusillanimity. I am not going to be a coward at any point. And if I have death in one hand and anything else in the other, whether it be a microphone that doesn't cost more than I've earned in my whole life, like Rush had, whether it's a pin or whatever else I'm carrying, I'm going to be a Western hero all the way to the end. Because my life is going to matter. That is how we correct behavior like Rush Limbaugh's. That is how we ensure that that doesn't happen again. This guy they're talking about last night on ILNS, what's this guy's name from South Africa? So many people, it's like PewDiePie wondering, is he really our guy? Does he really care about us? Well, let me tell you what. If he goes to the grave as well, then we, without making it happen, if he actually cares about Western civilization and Western kind, and he doesn't make it with an effort that can be seen from Mars in so many ways, Elon Musk, I think, if he does not do that, then his story of his life should be one of pure cowardice. Every step of the way, we should write him in, just like we write Rush in. Rush in as a coward for the totality of his life. Let the conservatives hate me for that for a week and then get over it. You know it's true. Question there. Hey, there she is, the Mrs. Jess Horst, financially gifting $5 with a beautiful little white heart emoji. Thank you, sweet sister. Great to see you. And I hope your husband and family are doing well. Rory, financially gifting $5. Thank you, brother. I am not sure of your opinion of Rush Limbaugh, but my wife and I have been following him since the early 1990s. He was a fresh voice for many. Why do you think you have the right to mock the recently passed away? Well, because I'm a new age. That's why. Because the old ways have failed. Because everything that people thought was reliable, the bulwark, the battlements and all that people thought were reliable were burnt down by the anti-whites, and they were in part enabled by Rush Limbaugh, who would not speak truth to power. And here I'm not talking about these half measures. He did plenty of good for people who had a conservative or patriotic or nationalistic mindset. In that he was able to push a couple of pieces of bread or bits of broken off bread onto the floor for them to eat. That's what he did. And when he was fighting for his survival very early on radio, I would have completely concurred with his decision to do things the way that he was doing them. He was trying to carve out a niche for himself so that he could speak to conservatively minded people and give them something. He might have called it the raw meat. I called it the broken bits of bread. I had, over the years, many people send me, Rory, tape cassettes with this guy on them. I had people send me, of course, CDs with this guy on him. And then, of course, over the internet with MP4s and the like of this guy, MP3s as well. And sometimes saying some good things about, or even great things about subject matter that really was inefficacious, really didn't matter. Told the whole truth somewhere where it didn't really matter. And then in other areas where it mattered, always stopped short of providing insight and input that I know, as bright as he was, that he had. He knows where the money comes from. He knows who is behind these major institutions. And he didn't say. He didn't even say. Now, like I said, I would have concurred with him early in his career. But once he was the megastar that he became, and he had hundreds of $100 million, $50 million, $20 million. Why does he need more? Why does he need more? He could have started telling it like it is a very long time ago, and I would have lauded him to the high heavens. He could have brought on to his show other points of opinion about our well-being, our survival as a people, as a country, instead of just the gelded conservative nonsense that he brought on. I was endlessly taking my hands in my head back when I worked on the Hill, knowing that this guy had the ears of scores of millions of good people like you and your wife, and not telling you all what's really going on. Saying, in fact, in one show that will, I don't know, I chanced to hear, maybe fate, if you will, brought my ears to it because I was driving in the car, turned on the radio, and there he was. I didn't like have him programmed in or anything. And there he was talking away, prattling away. And he said that he was going to use the word homophobe, even though he knew that it was a construct designed to defeat conservatives. He said that live on air. That is asininity in the extreme. He could have very easily, with the scores of millions of people who listen to him, done what I am spending an entire lifetime doing in the blink of an eye. That is why I have a right to talk about his fat ass that way. And finally, the reason why I have a right to talk about the fat ass coward that way is because even when he had all the support to be brave in the world, death and $500 million, he still couldn't find any bravery. I have no respect for him whatsoever. He could have used the last 6 months, the last year, and more, since he knew something wasn't right, to be bringing on somebody like James Edwards, some other people from white sympathetic spheres. He could have, of course, brought on yours truly. I attempted to reach out to him numerous times, always failing. He had the money to go, if you want to say, well, those are his people are in the way. They were the ones preventing him, or you want to make excuses for him, then you can do so. With $500 million, you can get beyond anybody trying to censor information coming into you. There is no excuse under heaven that this guy could not find every other source of information out there and then make that available. He should have made these scores of millions of people aware of names like James Edwards or yours truly or both or all of these other folks. And then you want to say, well, he disagrees with you. Okay, then you're saying that he wanted the end of Western kind. And that I don't believe. I don't believe Rush Limbaugh was a pure abstractionist that just didn't care whether or not white people survived. So, and if that's what he was, well, then I despise him for that. So as we go down the reasons for really detesting this guy, if he was a pure abstractionist, he was willing to sacrifice the flesh and blood of the people who created the ideas, willing to sacrifice the flesh and blood of that people on the altar of our ideas, he's a scumbag, and I detest him. If, like I believe, that he actually knew that Western civilization only comes from Western kind, then I detest him for being a coward, even all the way up to the end, when he had death and $500 million to give him courage. It still wasn't enough. That is why I have a right, because I am a new age. And the reason why I am the new age, all of these people are the new age of white well-being, is because the old age is on fire, because it's been defeated by the anti-whites. So if anything that's happening here today, there's a phoenix rising out of the flames of the cowardice of Rush Limbaugh. That's what's happening. I thank you and your wife both for your support, your $5 financial gift, and your question today, Rory. And that is the reason why. And I strongly encourage you both to dump conservatism, everything that you care about over the whole of your lives since the 1990s when you started listening to Rush has been going up in smoke. How much more of it do you need to go up in smoke? And stick with conservative ideas. How much more? How much more conservative approaches to this contest? How much more has to go up? I mean, at some point, you got to wonder if the person that's looking back at you from the mirror is a coward. And sometimes people have to be challenged that way. Not you personally, Rory. I don't know where you are mentally on this, but there are people out there who continue to watch the world burn down around them, and they are more afraid of a goddamn word. The anti-white slur racist, they're more afraid of that. They will allow that to get in their way and stop them from putting out the fire of Western civilization, of protecting our most vulnerable members. Well, you know what's sickening is a lot of these people, when they become seniors and they're in the old folks' home, they're suddenly going to be crying out, do something, do something. Foxtrot yourself to hell. You know, you're buying the yachts, you're buying your two, 3 vacations a year, a lot of these folks that listen to Rush Limbaugh. Another trip to the islands, another road trip in the $150,000 Winnebago. And then they want to listen to Rush because they want an excuse to do squat. Not Rory and his wife. Plenty of others out there what I'm talking about. World burns down around them, and then they're going to be saying, do something. The anti-whites in the old folks' home are beating and raping me. Well, too damn bad. When you had an opportunity to change the world for the better, for all of the old people in the old folks' home today and the children coming up, you didn't do anything. You were stuck in conservatism, pedaling without a chain. So, yeah, there are going to be plenty of people who get upset with me because I am brave enough to say the truth about Rush Limbaugh and the era that, thank God, it is dying. Let it go down with this slob, coward, into the grave. Because all conservatism has done for all of our lives, no matter how old you are, all conservatism in the Republican Party has done is lose. How much loss do you need before you finally say enough is enough? He can, you know, my opinion. I'll say it's my opinion. This is how much I care about people getting upset with me about telling it like it is, about representing the new age and this rising phoenix out of the fires set by anti-whites that conservatives helped to kindle. This is what I have to say. I hope that Golden Mike is up his ass. That's what I have to say. And my condolences to his family.